Good morning, YouTube. I'm here. I'm up and going. I don't know. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. It depends. It depends. Well, welcome to Coffee Convo with Carol this great Monday morning. Again, I hope everybody had a great weekend. Packers win. It's always a win for me. It's great weekend, great weekend. But welcome to Monday. Monday, and you know what we do here on Mondays, right? We have our coffee, your tea, your water, whatever it is that you like to get your mojo going in the morning. For me, it's coffee. And for me, coffee, just that first sip just wakes me up. It's good, it's hot, it smells good. I just want to let everybody know, welcome to Libra season, because I'm gonna be Libraing for at least a good how many days, how many weeks we get? At least 4 weeks. Good morning, good morning. You switched, sister. Good morning. I'm gonna be Libraing. So welcome to Libra season. I welcome all my Libras. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. I'm a Libra. I got my Libra cup. You're going to see it every day. So that means I really have to make sure I wash it out, because sometimes I'll be forgetting. I'll be like, where my cup at? But yes, good morning, good morning, good morning. Yes, baby, we here. So yeah, tipping scales, sis, tipping scales. Just, make sure everybody just come in real smooth and keep us balanced, and we're going to be all right. Because, them scales can tip, and depending on which way they tip, baby. I got a shirt that say, when they go low, I go Chris Brown. That's all right, though. I really don't. I could, but I don't. But I love the shirt. I love what it says. I'm sorry. I'm a jokester. But welcome to Mindset Mondays. All right. You ready to get your week together? I have a question for you guys. I really do. I have a question for you guys. Here's the question. How do you perceive failure? How do you perceive failure? How do you perceive failure? A lot goes on in your life personally, right? And sometimes you feel as if you're a failure. I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but I have felt as if I have failed in a lot of areas. First, I feel like I failed myself, just with certain what you call it, goals and dreams I have for myself at a certain time too. You put yourself up and you say, at this time I want to be able to have this, and this, and then that time comes and you haven't achieved some of the things on your list. So and here's the thing about Carol. I am my biggest critic. I will woe is me and I criticize myself harder than anybody. At first I'm upset and then evaluate it as a part of my learning curve. See, this is why I love my sister Janine, because I feel like she be in my mind sometimes. Let me find out us Sagittarius and Libras can be in each other's head. Because the other part of the question is, it says, how do you perceive failure? That was my first question. And the other part of it is a follow-up to what she just said, actually, as a setback or an opportunity to learn and grow. And her answer is actually what she said. She said she's upset at first. That's what Sister Janine said. And then she evaluates it as a part of her learning curve. Sister Pooh says, I used to kick myself in the butt, but with growth, I have understood it's the best way to succeed. And for me, I used to perceive failure as just terrible. You hear me? It's terrible. Like I used to look at myself and just be like, oh my goodness, you're just so. Again, I'm my biggest critic, so that's how I seen it. I don't perceive it that way anymore, but that's how I perceived it before. And I'm gonna tell you what else I used to perceive about failure. I used to go down the line and find out where did I line up in what statistic. That's how bad I'm not kidding. I would be like, oh, this happened to you. You are now a statistic. Let me go look at the percentages of this going on with this situation. Not kidding, because I was so bad on myself. Now I see failure as an opportunity to grow, because you're not going to make it at everything. Take it on the chin, but got to do better and try again, because it must be better next go round. All right, Sister Maymay said, take it on the chin, but gotta do better and try again because it must be better next go around. So when we think about, okay, so we're most of us that's on today says we see or we perceive failure as a learning and growing thing. Probably before we mature to where we are. That's the Libra in me. I know, baby. I beat my that baby. I just be beating myself up. Um, but most of us have matured and said, you know what? It's a learning and it's a growing thing because either you're going to fail at it or you're going to succeed at it. And one of my shirts that I wear, that I got is a quote that says, I never lose. I never lose. I either win or I learn. And what that's one of the quotes that really, really in the past year has helped me to understand that it's okay that people say, I got an L. I took that L. Well, I'm not taking no L's unless it stands for Libra. But I'm not taking no L's. I'm not taking any L's. I'm either taking wins or I'm learning. Those are the only L's I'm taking. It can be a lesson learned. That's an L too, or it's a win. That's it. No losses. There are no losses. There are no losses. So when you perceive failure as a learning and growing opportunity, you have no losses. You have no losses. Only learning. That's it and that's all. And I think that if people can mature in that way, um they can start to not be so bad on themselves like I was, a hard critic. You can grow in those areas. But here's a follow-up. Here's a follow-up, like a two-part, almost like a two-part today as we get our mindsets ready for the week and everything. You know, I learned this weekend over in church in our Sunday school lessons and everything like that. One of the questions we had were about interior distractions. And I think that when you think about setting goals, perceiving failure, sometimes our interior distractions can get the best of us as well. And so we learned this weekend about interior distractions. Come on, microphone, don't do that to me today. Interior distractions, and we learned about how can we go about to help those interior distractions. And you may say, Carol, interior distractions, what's that? Well, those are things within. Interior means within. You got your exterior, and then you have your interior. So you can have interior distractions. You can have self-doubt. You can have just bad thoughts when you're talking to yourself. You can have letdowns, as they say, perceived failures to hold you back from doing what it is that you need to do. So you have to learn some techniques to dismiss those interior distractions that might keep you from learning and growing in those moments that we perceive as a failed moment. Those moments that we perceive as a fail, because those interior distractions can keep you stuck too. If you perceive yourself if you go take a test, and this is a true story. This is a true story. If you go take a test, I took a test and I had to pass the test in order to get into the school that I was trying to get into. I took the test one time, failed. Took the test 2 times, failed. I took the test 3 times and failed. I failed the test 3 times. Now, in this failing, they go by points. They go by points. You needed 999 at least to pass. I kept getting 987 or 992. And I think the last one I got was like a 995, something like that. And so with those failures of that test at that time, I did not perceive it as, oh, well, let me go back and learn this and maybe I can do it. No, it became a drawn out. Now, I'm not kidding. Probably about a 2 or 3 year drawn out thing about how I wasn't good enough to pass that test and just it's going to be what it's going to be. And I'm not even going to try to go back. I'm not even going to try to do this. Is that's just what it is. I don't know what they're looking for, and I just can't do it. And then what happens is you'll see people come along that you either know or work with, and they'll say stuff like, "Oh, I took that, I passed it," and da 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 da, and you be looking like, "Then what's wrong with me?" You start analyzing yourself that way. You start doing things of that nature. I mean, have y'all did that? Like, cause that was me. And then I had those interior distractions. Am I not smart enough? You got these shows out here. Are you smarter than a fifth grader? And you trying to figure out now, did I learn that in fifth grade? Did I, for me, I ain't gonna say you, but for me, that's how it was. And you start talking to yourself in your head. Oh man, I ain't gonna never get there. This and that and everything. Same here. I did the same thing. Sister Pooh said she did the same thing. And you do that to yourself. You do that to yourself multiple times until you find out, you know what, this is a learning and a growing curve. Sometimes some things for one person may not be for you. And then in other situations, I've learned that, you know what, here's my thing that I've learned. I have been through so much, and I'm being transparent. In the last, this is 24. So I'll say in the last year, almost 2 years, dealing with family, work, just my own self and growth, that I have learned that slow and steady wins the race. Yes, girl, that NCLEX. Well, not the NCLEX, because the NCLEX I passed. The NCLEX I passed. It's these tests that they have for you before you even go back to school. They worse than the NCLEX. To be honest with you, when you speaking of nursing, they're NCLEX I passed. I had to pass my state boards to even practice nursing. But these little ones they got when you want to go back, they're a little bit worse. They're a little bit worse. But this is what I learned too. Everybody has their own timeline. You may have went to school and got it done. Yes, that doggone entry exam to my OT classes. Baby, tell me about it. Tell me about it, Sister May May. Sister Pooh talking about NCLEX. You talking about that entry exam to OT? Baby, I'm telling y'all, some of these entries into school. And I overthought the NCLEX. Baby, the NCLEX was easy to me. But these entry exams that they want you to get to further your education, depending on how you going about it, some of them are worse to me than the NCLEX, especially when it comes to nursing. Yes, ma'am. But I did learn slow and steady. This is what I've learned in the last year, going on 2 years. Slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady. Hey, hubby, good morning. He said, you got this. Yes, slow and steady wins the race. This morning, we are talking about how do you perceive failure, Brother Jermaine? How do you perceive failure? As a setback or an opportunity to learn and grow? How do you perceive failure? Do you perceive it as a setback or an opportunity to learn and grow? How do you perceive failure? So we've said, a lot of us have said that at first we would be mad, we would be a whole lot of things, and then we pedal back and we understand now that it's the best way to succeed. Sister Pooh, Sister Janine said that it's as a part of a learning curve. So now we're seeing that. Good morning, good morning. How do you say it, Narima? That's my Puerto Rican princess there. Buenas noches. Is that how you say it? Am I saying good morning or am I just saying hello? What am I saying? What am I saying, Narima? I just like how you say it. Buenas noches. So I didn't know how you were saying it. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Sister Pooh said, I must say, I felt like a failure when I left the marriage before I allowed it to happen. And I've watched friends, family be married 3, 4 times. Honey, yes. You know what? Buenos dias. Okay, buenos dias. Buenos dias. Good morning. She teaching me some Spanish over here. I would say this about the marriage part. Buenos dias. Good morning, sis. Laugh out loud. Don't mess with me about my Spanish. I must say I felt like a failure when I left the marriage before I allowed it to happen. And I watched friends and family be married 3, 4 times. I was 23 at the time, but in all this time, I found out what I actually want in my marriage. You know what? I'm going to tell you about this. Sometimes we criticize ourselves for choices that we make, and then you sit back and you see other people make choices and you go, wow, they did it, why couldn't I do it? It's not that you can't, and it's not that you could have at that time, because your mindset, again, this is Monday mindset with Coffee and Convo with Carol, your mindset was different. And that's the thing about mindset. When your mind is on a different level or a different path, you do things differently. You choose things differently. And I think that mindset word goes along with maturity so much, because that's what happens. What happens when you start thinking differently, moving differently? Your mind is maturing differently. It's maturing differently. And you're maturing, and maturing means grow. It means to grow. Now, here's the thing. Everybody follow along with me. Sometimes you can be influenced in your thinking. But you have to make sure that you yourself, me, myself, you yourself, have to know the difference. And that goes back to last week, talking about the serenity prayer and things of that nature, about, helping God help us to change the things that we can and the things that we can't, help us to accept it. Because here's the thing. You can be influenced in your thoughts. People can make suggestions or opinions because you talk to different people. And then you can take those thoughts and somewhere find yourself by yourself thinking on those things. Now, here's the thing. You have to know the difference. Is this right for me, or is this wrong for me? Is this going to help me grow, or is this going to help me stay here? Am I going to be like a car that's idle, that's just running? Or am I going to be able to, pick up speed and move along? So with that decision about marriage for you at that age, you thought that was the best decision at that time. And then you can't always look at everybody else, because you know what they say about you on the outside looking in. Things from the outside looking in is perceived very differently. It looks great sometimes from the outside, but baby, you see a house sometimes and you look at it and you go, that's a beautiful home. On the outside, the windows look good, the grass is green, you got everything in its place. But baby, you walk up inside that house, ain't nothing in place. Stuff all over. You probably ain't got no furniture in there. Stuff all over the place. The house is nasty. The smell probably ain't great. But outside, it looks good. It looks good. Okay, so that's why I'm saying sometimes, when you talk about, you look at everybody got married 3 or 4 times and you had a failed marriage, there's nothing wrong with that. I've had one. It's okay. People fail at marriage. They fail at marriage. I think it's about, if we go on the topic marriage right now, about what do you want out of a marriage? What do you want out of a husband? What do you want to see? It's about teamwork. It is about teamwork. No marriages are no 1 or 2 marriages are the same. You're never going to find some the same, ever. They're all different. And it's about you and your mate and how you make it work. You two. And normally, when you have that, you normally see a team working, and you got to know how to balance it. And that's how it works. Marriage is not easy. Marriage is hard work. It's very hard work. It's hard work, because every day somebody leaving, every day somebody staying. It is very hard work. But I can attest that if you're young, sometimes those thoughts go through. Not that young people can't make it. It's just a lot of hard work. And so you're different then, and you grow, 20s is young, I've been there. Teenage is young. So you grow into a different person as you get older. You never want to see things break up or move on, but how do you perceive it? Sometimes it's It is what it is. And you know what? I could perceive it as a failure. Again, I'm one of those ones. Some fail, baby. I'm looking at the statistics where I fall at in the line. But it's a learning and growing curve, as she said. It's a learning to succeed at what you do next. It's a learning and growing opportunity to do what you need. Sister Charmaine said, take it on the chin. Take it on the chin and keep moving. Keep moving. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes that's what happens. You know, we have this thing in our, and I'm going to be transparent about me, and everybody knows my husband, Brother Jermaine. So here's a transparent thing about us. We have this thing that we do, and we did it since we were married. So if anybody came to our wedding or had an opportunity to be at our wedding, we're sports fans, right? So in sports, you have a team. And so when they did the entrance, it was a football. You know, when football come out, it was a football thing because that was our team. You know, we had our people in our wedding that we wanted in our wedding. They were our team. And so when they got announced, the wedding party was announced at the reception, they came into the football team. And you know what, it's team fields over here. We are a team. We are a team through the good, the bad, the ugly. And trust me. Trust me. When it comes to marriage and family, we have our times too. And it's okay. But we are here to support each other. We're here to support each other. I support him, he supports me, and that's how we groove. And it's not always, we agreeable with things, but at the end of the day, we don't care about what nobody else is saying. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to support him and he's going to support me. And we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about that thing. When it comes to the kids, or the young adults, whatever you want to name, the grandchild, because I only got one. When it comes to everything, it's me and him. So, it's a team effort. Absolutely, because people question what and why. And I was happy to be 23 and old enough mentally to say this ain't it. And we had children. I tried, but I couldn't do it. Yeah. And that's okay because you couldn't. And nobody can hold you to it. Marriages, sometimes, let me tell you something. Since we off into this subject, I really want to say this. Sometimes in marriages, people again are at different areas. They are at different areas. And I will say this, because someone came to me this weekend at work about their marriage. And one of the things that I always share with people is, and because my mother shared it with me, you have to make a decision for you. You can't make the decision for, if children are involved, you can't make it for them. Divorces and things like that does affect them, but whatever decision is you have to make as an adult, you have to make it for yourself. And then you have to make it and then live with those consequences, because for every action, there's a reaction. And for every reaction, there is a consequence. And I just want to let everybody know, when you talk about consequences or consequence, it doesn't always have to be bad. Okay? It doesn't, because for every reaction, it doesn't mean that it's going to be a bad consequence. A consequence is just something that comes after the reaction is done, a response, right? And so you have to just be okay with what you say and go from there. You have to be okay with what you say. And trust me, it's going to be some days where you're going to be like, oh man, why did I do that? And it's going to be some days like, I'm glad I did that. And it's going to be some times where you probably go years down the line and be like, wow, I made the best decision, and it's probably going to be some times where you're like, man, I could have just chose a little different there. But hey, that's what comes with those choices. And it's going to be okay. That's one thing about it. Everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. And so how do you perceive failure? You have to sit back, analyze, and reflect. You're going to either see it as a setback or an opportunity to learn and grow. And I hope that everybody sees failure as an opportunity to learn and grow, or you have to learn and grow to see it as an opportunity to learn and grow. In my case, you had to learn, I had to grow to it, right? And most of the engagement that we had today was about learning to accept that failure sometimes is going to happen, but sometimes you have to fail to succeed. And then sometimes, guess what? It's just an opportunity to learn and grow wherever you are. Like I said, I have one that says, I never lose. I either win or I learn. But losing definitely is not the answer. Here, I want to tell you guys this. Strength shows not only in the ability to persist, but the ability to start over. All right. Sometimes strength shows not only in the ability to persist, so you got to be strong to persist, to push through, but it also shows the ability to start over. All right, Sister Pooh. And then great things are done by a series of small things brought together. All right. I want you guys to remember to live, love, never ever stop laughing. Always find room to forgive because none of us is perfect. And then I want you guys to remember one love. Once we learn how to love each other just a little bit more, what a wonderful world this will be. I will see you guys tomorrow on Tuesday. Tomorrow is Tuesday Thoughts. All right, Tuesday Thoughts. What are we thinking about? What are we thinking about? What are we thinking about? Thank you for joining me on Coffee and Conversations with Carol. And today was our Mindset Monday. Remember, 8:30 tomorrow morning. Love you guys. Thank you for your support. Have a great morning.